Hello and welcome to Catfish Trash Talk. This is episode 13. I'm your host, comedian Tracey Carnazzo, joined by my co-host, Noelle Winters Herzog.
Hi, hello, Tracey.
Oh, you know, something that I totally forgot to talk about on the other podcast this week. I will be opening for Chris Frangiola in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, October 2nd at City Winery. I'll have to put up the link somewhere. I'll put it probably in the Facebook groups. So guys, make sure you're joining the Catfish Trash Talk podcast discussion group on Facebook. And also, obviously, our other podcast, Teen Mom Trash Talk, has a discussion group, and 90 Day Fiance has a discussion group. We're here to talk about season 8, episode 45 of Catfish, Zark and Roger.
Zark. So every time I hear Zark, I think of like Mork and Mindy.
Okay, I was going to tell you the same thing.
Really?
Get out of my head. I'm like, Zark, Zoink, Zark.
Me too.
Like it's like a noise.
Yeah.
It's an alliteration. It's an alliteration.
That's all I kept doing. I don't know what that word means, but like that's all I kept doing it the whole time.
It's like, remember when I explained to you how it's like a word that like sounds like a noise, like bang, boom, bang.
Like an onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia.
I hate you so much.
A double entendre.
I hate you a lot. I really do. I don't like you.
Just jacked up because I was thinking about Mork and Mindy.
I see that. Accoutrements. Guys, make sure you're joining us on Patreon at patreon.com/trash talk podcast, because you can get this podcast, 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk, Teen Mom Trash Talk, almost a week before they come out. You get it like the day after the episode airs. So make sure you go over there. That's on the elite level. Also, 170 episodes of BS, our favorite podcast ever.
You will learn everything there is to know about us.
Everything. All right. So now let's jump into this episode. Neve brings some plants.
I love plants. I mean, they're stretching these episodes here, but
they really are. So they name one Max. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then they name one Carmen,
which is hilarious.
Who's the fat ass Kelly Price.
Yes.
Then we have Ashley, who's the repeat offender.
Oh, I couldn't figure out who Ashley was. I didn't get a good look.
Then we have Justin, who...
That guy flipped out. He catfished another guy because he thought the guy was like a cheater and he wanted to prove a point to cheaters of the world. I remember that. Yes. He got out of the car clapping.
Yeah, I remember this. He went to Catfish. He was at Catfish
Park. Yes. Tumor Park.
Renamed Tumor Park. It's Tumor Way now. They had a ribbon cutting ceremony for the... Wow, why can't I say that? They had a ribbon cutting ceremony for the name change.
Oh,
and then they named one last plant Katie for Katy Perry.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We meet Zark. He's 22. He lives outside DC and he lives with his family.
He's so cute.
He's adorable. He's been dating Roger from Tinder for 2 years.
Right.
Roger's 31.
Mm-hmm.
He's a government contractor and he lives in Orlando, but he comes to DC for work back and forth.
And he actually thought he was thirsty at first.
He was. He came on very strong, but he ended up helping Zark get through some very hard family issues,
which is a common theme here.
Sure. So they talk on the phone a lot, but Roger, aka Royer, hasn't been in DC for 2 years.
Interesting.
Also, Cammie's shirt. Did you see what it said?
I did, but I didn't write it down.
Therapy is not a bad word.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yes. Very cute.
All right. So now Zark comes into the Zoom. We meet
I just want to say there were some inconsistencies on the show. And
tell me.
One of them. He says that their 2-year anniversary is approaching. Mm-hmm. But then he says later on, like, I know that he really does want to be my boyfriend. But then later on, he says they're exclusive. So it's like, I don't understand what's happening.
Well, I guess maybe he just means like, I know that he does want to be my boyfriend, like still.
No. Like meaning like, I know he wants to commit to me.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe he's just,
I don't know. It's just
saying.
Something I was like, oh, very interesting. Mm-hmm.
So Zark comes into the Zoom and he's Pakistani, but his name is Zark. It is Arabic.
Yes.
And it means gift from God.
So nice.
Zark.
Mm-hmm. Zark.
He is a model and a designer, and they make him do a catwalk.
Of course they do.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't want to
I know
this about me, but I do a really mean catwalk.
You went to Barbizon.
I went to Barbizon. I was a professional model for many years, and I thought that this was an okay catwalk. It was good.
I've seen better.
I've seen better, but listen, Zark, we're proud of you.
Zark, though, is very good looking.
Very good looking.
Mhm.
So then he starts talking about how you said how Roger came on very strong, and then he went through some family stuff, and he gives him Roger. I was going to say Royer again. Roger tells him that basically he's way too old for social media because he's 31.
Right. So he says that he's 10 years older
Right.
than Zark.
So they've FaceTime, but he only shows his beard. So it's more like beard time.
That's so weird, though. Like, I would be like, can I see a cheek? Can I see an eye? Can I see something else besides this beard? I don't even like beards.
Well, maybe he really liked beards.
Maybe.
What do you think they talked about beard to beard?
Beard oil. Beard to beard.
Barbers. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. I don't think you get that, but
okay.
that's okay.
I guess
in The
razors versus straight edge.
Well, the reason he can't show the rest of his face is because he has cancer and
is self-conscious.
That's why you can't see his. Okay. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make sense of this, and I do not want to be disrespectful to anyone.
Agreed,
but
right.
At the same time, like, so I guess you're like kind of alluding to the fact that maybe you're going through chemo.
Right.
So do you think you would have a beard?
Okay. That's what I was thinking too. Like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me he lost his hair, so he's bald, but he didn't lose his facial hair.
Right. So I would, if I were him and I was trying to pretend that I was going through chemo, what I would do is I would show you the my forearm, the back of my forearm, and I'd be like, that's my face. I would draw like an eye on it.
Right.
And be like, I could just look at you.
Yeah,
I could just look at you at one eye, or like draw, even you know how people draw like on the side of their hand, they draw like a little face and they make the mouth talk. I'd be like, I'm not comfortable showing my face, so I'm just gonna keep talking to you.
Or I have a sock puppet.
I would put a sock puppet out and be like, listen, just imagine this is me talking to you. I'd be okay with that.
Oh, you would be okay with that.
Also,
yes.
What kind of cancer do you have? Maybe he has nose, eye, forehead cancer.
Maybe he's not even on chemotherapy. Who knows?
Maybe he has face cancer all the way.
Right. He might.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So now we see the pictures, and he has a wedding ring on in every single picture.
But he never noticed.
Maybe
noticed. I wouldn't notice. I don't know.
But here's the thing. This guy is a model and a fashion designer, and you don't notice that someone has on a wedding ring.
That's true. That I didn't think about that. That's true.
You look at every single thing that someone's wearing.
Also, Roger's very good looking too. I feel like
very good looking. So Zark is his little gift from God, if you will.
Yeah, very cute.
So so now they take the phone number and they're going to Google the phone number. Right. It's registered to Roger Casanova.
Okay, I roll.
So now they go over to the Cash App. They put the number in. I like this new thing that they do.
Yeah, I guess I don't use Cash App, so I'm always like, why?
I don't either.
This? Do it on Venmo, you know?
Right, but I feel like more people actually do have Cash App.
Do they? I don't really know about it.
Or maybe they're sponsored by Cash App. We don't know.
Maybe.
So they find him, and his name is Roger Dat, which is pretty funny.
Roger Dat. Roger Dat.
Okay, so they find that his actual handle on Cash App is Dark. What is it?
But what is the?
Is it Dark Dick?
That's what I was thinking.
I'm like, what is it? Or are they just bleeping it out so that we don't know his username on Cash App?
Which it could be that too.
I want to pretend it's Dark Dick.
Okay, let's pretend it's Dark Dick.
Okay, so it's Dark Dick. So now they take Dark Dick, they put it into Instagram. And they find a profile. It's all his real pictures, and it says Czar of the Universe.
And everything is like vulgar and nasty and mean.
He has a weird bio, weird picture, weird captions, very aggressive, very vulgar. It's like, okay.
He says things like stick it in your chili hole.
That was very funny. That was very funny.
I guess, but I mean, to me, it's more.
But he wasn't kidding.
Gross.
No.
Yeah, right. It's that aggressive attitude.
Noelle, I need you to shut your chili hole.
Oh, I thought there was something I really needed to shut.
Also, is your chili hole your butt or your mouth?
I was thinking butt.
Okay, because I feel like it could be both a chili hole.
Could be.
Because I eat chili with my mouth.
Human centipede, you know? Again.
Well, stop. This is not okay. All right, so this is what it reminds me of. You remember when we were in high school?
Yeah.
And everyone had their AOL profiles. And it was like, they would write like one capital letter, one lowercase letter, one capital letter.
God, yes.
Right. And it was like, the hater's going to hate no drama.
That's
what it would be
I
like.
remember.
Relationship status, no drama here.
It's on Reddit when they want to make fun of people, especially like, what do they call it? Tin foil hat wearing people, like the people with all these conspiracy theories. They write it like that. Lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, uppercase makes me laugh every time.
Okay, so when I was younger, I used to think that maybe there was like some kind of setting on your keyboard that you could set to do that.
No.
And there's not.
No.
How do you type like that?
You just hold your finger on the shift button, up and
down,
up and down, up and down. Yeah.
I just feel like there is I don't know, like some kind of
there's got to be a better way to do this.
I know. I would need an app to do that. Also, do you ever notice when people type and they make every word capital?
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
I feel like, is that a setting? I have a friend.
Is that a mental illness?
That a lot.
Oh, I can't wait till you tell me, because I never noticed, because I probably don't talk to them anymore.
Yeah.
So this is very weird. It's always, can I just tell you something? It's always the people that are like, no drama, no haters.
That are the worst.
The worst. So now
also nobody like hates you. Nobody cares enough to hate you.
But like, what are you doing? That you have all these haters with their name in your mouth. Put a dick in your mouth. Name in my mouth.
God, we know so many like neighborhood girls that probably still talk like
they
this.
Definitely
but it's like, what's wrong with you?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
All right. So now there's weird captions, aggressive, vulgar language, and then they find a woman named Fatou that has commented on his picture.
Like, I haven't seen you in a suit in a long time.
Right. Meaning since your wedding to your wife. So she's at work, but she can have a phone call.
Okay.
And then she says, this is a quote, "A long time ago, I knew him and his wife."
What does that mean, though?
I don't know.
Also, where did he live when you knew them? Where do you live?
How did you meet them?
Are you still friends with his wife? Who did you know first?
Right. Well, she said that he does not work for the government, but she cannot tell us where he really works. Okay. These phone calls.
And she doesn't know if he has cancer either.
She doesn't think he does.
She doesn't think he does.
So she said that she did meet Roger in person. And so Neve's like, okay, can you just verify this phone number? And she's like, oh, can you hold, please?
That's you, like your mom's calling.
And then she comes back like 2 minutes later and she's like, oh, I have to go. My boss is calling me. Bye.
Bye. And just leaves.
Now, what are they eating? They say they're eating potatoes.
Okay, so it looked like something, maybe like a buffalo sauce or something.
What's happening though?
I don't know, but I feel like it was something besides potatoes. I think it was like potatoes and maybe like a nugget.
Okay, well, I need to know exactly what was going on. So guys, if you know what they were eating, it's clearly like some kind of like fast food place that's famous because they showed the box.
Yeah, tell us. It looked, I for some reason, my first thought was Shake Shack, but
go over to the group.
Box.
I don't know. Go over to the group. Let us know. Catfish Trash Talk on Facebook. Okay. So now Zark comes back into the Zoom. Zark! Zark! He didn't sleep. Now, again, he's in an Airbnb all the way.
Okay, I didn't realize that until afterwards because I realized there was so much like bowls on display.
Yeah, a lot of displays.
A lot of display.
He said that it's definitely not Roger on that Instagram profile because he doesn't like social media. And it's like, oh, come on.
That's the reason why. How about because he's acting like a jerk,
right? So he said that it's like almost like it's his evil twin. So they catch him up all the way, and then Neve calls Roger, no answer. So they text, and he writes back, I knew this was all coming. How is Zark?
It's like, what?
So he said that he's out, and he'd rather Zoom at home. So they give him 1 hour. I love the threat.
And now Zark just cries for this hour.
He's so upset.
He just cries.
So Roger texts. He says that he's back.
So
now he shows a room. He doesn't show himself first. He shows a room with like a bar set up.
Yeah, I think this might have been a real place, though.
I don't think so at all.
Really?
I think it was probably an Airbnb because then they had a whole display, like a china closet with all different drinkware.
That's why I figured it was like his mom's house or something.
I don't think so. It was really, really clean. And it was really like so they probably like charge you if you open up the bottle of champagne or whatever.
Okay. I don't know. I just assumed it was his mother's house.
I don't know. Well, it's him.
Okay. Hello. It's him.
Noelle. This man has the most beautiful hair I've ever seen in my entire life.
Tracey.
Is it real?
It's real. That's real. I would give a lot for that hair.
I couldn't believe it. I've
I
never
know.
listen, if you like men with long hair or not, it doesn't matter. This hair was the most beautiful, luscious head of hair that I've
gorgeous.
ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Extremely handsome.
Oh, he is so good looking.
Both of them. But he
he
is dressed in a shirt that he definitely bought in Bang Bang 1998, the summer collection.
Definitely. He probably wore it to like Cheetah or the Tunnel.
What happened? What are you doing?
I don't know, but I have to tell you, he's another one. Didn't like his energy very much.
Not at all.
Like it.
Zark is big mad. And he says, well, I couldn't show you my face because I gained weight from my cancer treatment, but now I lost some of it. So now I could show my face.
Okay. So when he says this, I was like a little confused. Like, is that a thing?
I mean, maybe, but like what?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Because here's the thing. It's like you want to believe him because you don't want to think that anyone lies about that. But like you lied about so many things. I don't believe you. He also
said that he lost hair. And it's like, where did you lose this hair? All I see is hair.
You must have had cancer treatment 25 years ago.
Right. Because it would take me 25 years to grow my hair that long.
Yes. So he also says that he lied. He lives in DC, not Orlando. He lives 15 minutes from where Zark works.
I would be so mad if I was Zark.
Yeah, but also, where does Zark work?
They don't tell us.
Right?
Right. It's like, where are you a model out of?
Out of your Airbnb?
Right. Out of Subway? Like, where are you a model?
I think he went to Barbizon too. Oh, and then also, by the way, he's not 31. He's 45.
That's very bad.
And he works in medical billing. Oh,
okay.
What an exciting job.
Big flex.
So Jark, I was going to say Jark. Zark confronts him about his marriage. And he was like annoyed, like, oh, please, I don't even talk to my ex-wife.
I know, like, I didn't even like her. Oh, like, okay, so they didn't have kids together. I get it. They don't talk anymore. But like, why did you not say?
Because he's 45. That's why.
Well,
he's a liar.
That's the biggest problem is that he's just a liar.
He's a liar. He's lied about everything. And now it's like, now we're going to believe you about your cancer treatment that you don't even elaborate on.
Right.
He said that he was, quote, going through something. He thought he was too fat.
Going through something.
Oh my God. They go through so many things. This should be called the show of tunnels.
Yeah.
The tunnel of love, if you will.
The catacombs of Catfish.
The tunnel of love. He said that he loves Zark, and he also keeps saying over and over that he's not a bad guy.
Right. So usually when people do that, that means they are a bad guy.
Bad guy. You know who says
from
that?
What I've noticed.
Bad guys say that.
Yeah, bad guys say that.
And he says something that is so manipulative.
What does he say?
There's people doing worse things.
Yeah.
He's like I didn't murder anyone. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
He does apologize, kind of, though. He says he's sorry.
Okay, but also like take responsibility for what you said instead of saying like
responsibility.
He's like, all right, well, listen, sure, I lied about every single thing ever, but like I never raped anyone that they know of.
He doesn't think what he did was wrong. He
right,
just
but that's the big problem. That's the giant problem that I have. So I like how Zark's like, well, I'm still curious. Like, he's hot.
I mean, I don't blame him though.
And he doesn't mind his age. So now the funny thing is about all of these shows, and we've talked about this many, many times.
Yeah.
No one minds about the lying if you're hot.
Right. But if he was
ugly, let me tell you what Zark would have done. Zark would have been like, I can't talk to you. You lied to me. You broke my trust. I'll never be able to trust you. I'm moving on.
Yes.
But he's like, well, I am still curious.
I am still curious because I like that beard. You know, I spent a lot of time looking at that beard.
When we were on a beard call.
I
loved having all that beard time with you.
He likes the beard. It's like tummy time. It's beard time.
He just lays on his beard and tries not to suffocate. Isn't that what tummy time is all about?
I guess.
Trying not to suffocate. Anyway.
Sounds relatable.
Zark said that he wants space, but he also wants to start over and be with him because he wants to see how he
what
treats
is
him
it?
He wants to see how he treats him in person.
In the sack.
Yeah. He's like, I want to see how you treat me on my butt.
Yeah.
How's that beard feel IRL? So Zach, why can't we just call him Zach? Zark.
I know.
He wants to build from honesty. And then he says, I will text you when I'm ready.
But he says it so like flirtatious.
He's like, you've been a bad boy. Bad
I'll
boy.
text you when I'm ready.
So Zark didn't answer him for weeks. This is the
Right.
final thing. But then they finally went out in person, and he thinks it could be something real. Noelle, thoughts?
Okay. I have a really weird feeling about Roger, and not even just because of his lies. Just like, I don't know. I get like a really weird vibe from him. I feel like he's like hiding so many things.
Oh, you mean because of his creepy, threatening Instagram?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that at all. It really put me off. I think Zark is so cute.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is something real. I don't think this is going to be like a real relationship thing. I think maybe
I
it's gonna
hope
be a
not.
little hook up.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Like a pump and dump?
Oh,
Is that
wow,
terrible?
Noelle. That was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that has more to do with breastfeeding when you drink alcohol.
I don't know. I just like I don't know what it's called, but like I think it would just be a hookup.
I think that's just what it's called. Just a hookup.
Okay. So I think they're just gonna hook up. I
Wait, do
want
you think
better
that
for
he's-
Zark.
Do you think that he's going to try to breastfeed him?
You never know.
I know.
I want better for Zark. I think
I
that
want better for Zark too.
I
Zark
think
is
that they're both very good looking though, and it's annoying.
okay, but 45 and 22, Noelle.
He does not look 45.
No, he doesn't. But here's the thing. I don't think Zark would have cared if he was 45.
Yeah.
But like, once you lie to me like that bad, so you lied about where
Yeah.
you lived. You lied about what you do for work. You lied about being married. You lied about like so many things. But it's like, but you have a beard.
Here's the thing. If I could have gotten past the lying about where you work, that's
Yes.
as far as I could go.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like, okay, you didn't want to tell me where you work. That's
Right.
fine.
That's a dumb thing. Maybe you were ashamed. Maybe you think you don't
Yeah.
make enough money. Whatever it is, I could get past that.
Listen, maybe
Yeah.
you didn't think that you were a superhero medical biller, but I do.
But I do. I
Roger.
believe in you, Roger.
You
I
probably
believe.
code and bill like a
Unlike
dream.
anyone else.
Like a dream.
I could watch you do it all day. I could watch you at that computer all day.
What's the code for a sonogram?
What's the code for serotonin?
What's the code for undiagnosed autoimmune disease?
Tell me more.
What goes on, Roger? Noelle, what do you think about this episode in general? Do you think it's been? I thought it was better than they've been.
Okay, so the past few episodes that we've watched, I feel like we've complained about a lot more than this one.
Yeah, I'm not
because this one I
complaining.
really wasn't sure what was going to happen, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this isn't so bad. It was like, it's kind of a happy ending, but it still kind of had you guessing. It didn't seem fake. Like the last episode seemed so fake.
No, this seemed realer.
This was like actually seemed like authentic. Like what they were
Mhm.
saying was real. I did feel bad for Zark crying. I don't want him to cry.
Okay,
too
but he's
beautiful
not
to
crying
cry.
anymore because now he's gonna do stuff with Roger in the beard.
I need to find out if they're still together.
I do too.
Yeah. But they
Got-
wouldn't tell us his Instagram handle.
Oh no, it's Dark Dick.
Dark Dick. Okay, so I'm gonna look up Dark Dick like underscore
Dark Dick's
underscore
czar
Dick.
of the world, czar of the universe.
Czar of the universe, aka Dark Dick.
Ooh, he saved every one of us.
What's that?
Flash. Whoa, master of the. You know, remember Flash Gordon?
I know, but I don't know what
It was
you're
a Queen
singing.
song. You know
Oh,
Queen?
Interesting. Yeah, I know. I know Queen, obvi.
Oh, really? Well, that was very obvious because she didn't know. I'm just saying.
I don't know Flash Gordon.
Really? You don't know him?
No, I don't know him. I don't know about him.
Okay, let's see.
I don't know about Captain America either. There are a lot of things I don't really know.
I just know about the song.
Oh, okay. I thought you knew about like the person.
I don't know a lot about him, but I
Uh-huh.
know that Queen was on the soundtrack and they did that song.
Well, I know that Freddie Mercury from Queen said that he would rather have cats than children.
I would rather have children than cats. I'm very allergic to
I
cats.
would much rather have children than cats. Cats would kill me.
Yeah, it
faster
goes,
than kids.
Flash, savior of the universe. Ooh, Flash, he saved every one of us. Ooh. No. Okay.
No, I was when you were doing that, I was thinking of the Ghost Rider song. That show Ghost Rider.
Ooh, I loved
Ghost
that
Rider.
show.
Me too. Right? That was
Oh
the
my
best.
God. I
Yeah.
loved it. You know what's funny about that show? I started watching it. It was like on PBS or whatever.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I would thought that I was the only one that knew about
You
it.
weren't.
I know, but
You weren't.
like at the time when I was watching it, I thought it was just like a show for me.
Oh, they just made it just for you.
I thought
That's how I used to feel about that shows that they would paint along when telling a story.
I love those
Me
shows.
too.
Everything on PBS was just broadcasted straight to my TV for Tracey.
There was a show that came out not that long ago. I can't remember. It was on Sci-Fi, and it was about that. It was about these shows like geared towards children. It was like horror though. Like it wasn't real. Like
What do you
something bad
mean?
happens to you. Like all these kids watched the show, but like the show actually never existed, and like bad things happened to the kids.
Oh, great. That's great. Thank you.
The thing is, I don't think that happened with Ghost Rider though. I really, really liked Ghost Rider. There was like a brother and a sister. Their family owned a grocery store,
and then they would get like look for clues.
Yeah, there was that girl Lenny. Her dad was like an artist. Or
you remember way more than I do.
Yeah, I do. There was a guy named Rob. I remember everything.
That was a very, very, very good show.
Yeah, I wish that we could watch it. It's probably on like YouTube, but I would like for it to be on like Hulu. Like I can't do shows on YouTube.
I would like that as well.
Yeah.
It was 1992, 3 seasons. A group of teens solves neighborhood crimes and mysteries in New York with the help of a spirit who could only communicate through writing. So it was 92 to 95. It was produced in Brooklyn, New York, and it was on PBS.
It was only 3 seasons.
Only 3 seasons, but really, they sucked us in those 3 seasons.
Yeah, I would really like to watch that again.
I really would too. Maybe we could find it.
I feel like your brain exploded when I said Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I just thought it was for me.
No, it wasn't. We shared. Maybe it's a shared delusion. I don't know.
Let's see what the cast is like. Jamal Jenkins, I remember him. Lenny Frazier.
He had his grandma.
Yes. Alex Fernandez, Gabby Fernandez. Those were the Tina Nigel.
I don't remember Tina.
Rob Baker, Hector Carrero. I remember Hector. Casey Austin, CeCe Jenkins, Mr. Jenkins. And that's really all there is to it.
Yeah, that's the jam.
Oh my God. Ghost Rider producer and writer Kermit Frazier revealed in a 2010 interview at the Ghost Rider that Ghost Rider was the ghost of a runaway slave during the American Civil War. He taught other slaves how to read and write and was killed by slave catchers and their dogs. His soul was kept in the book that Jamal first discovered in the pilot episode. And when Jamal opened the book, he was freed. That's really deep.
Really?
Very deep.
I didn't know any of that.
Is there a reboot? Oh my God. In September 2019, it was reported that Ghost Rider reboot would air on Apple TV. The series premiered November 1st, 2019, and was nominated for 8 Daytime Emmy Awards. What?
Wait, what?
A spinoff, Ghost Rider Beyond the Page, premiered April 1st, 2021. What?
Oh my God, you're right. It's on Apple TV. I have Apple TV on my iPad, I think.
Wow. This is crazy.
I would like to watch the original because I feel like I don't remember any of it anymore. And that's always fun when you don't remember something because I watch things to death.
Yes.
So it's like, I would love to rewatch that.
Oh my God. Well, guys, thank you for listening to us babble and babble and babble.
Thanks for listening to Ghost Rider Trash Talk.
Seriously. Make sure you're following us. I'm at Trixie Tuzini on Instagram and Twitter. Noelle is at Noe Girl on Instagram and Twitter. And go to TraceyCarnazzo.com for our upcoming show dates. We have tons of merch for sale. Check it all out on our Instagrams, on our Twitters, on all of the stuff. Join the group. Bye.
Bye.
Wait a minute, Noelle. I think I have someone on the line.
No way.
Yeah. Roger, are you there?
I am here.
Oh my God, guys, please give a warm welcome to our guest, Roger, who we just talked all about. We just saw this amazing episode of Catfish. Roger, I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm kind of happy to be here to kind of tell my side. So thank you for having me on.
Of course. We're just so confused because we always love a good update. You know, things change. From the time that MTV gives the update. So when did they last reach out to you for an update?
MTV or Catfish?
Yeah.
I actually they haven't reached out to me.
Okay. So you weren't able to give your update?
No, I haven't been able to give my update. But, you know, I'm pretty sure the update that they put towards the end was accurate up to a certain point. So.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that. So Roger, we just had a few questions for you. So as we go through the episode, there are so many things that, you know, we're like, oh, I wish we could ask him what this is all about. First of all, is this your apartment that we're seeing you in, or is this an Airbnb?
Oh, it's my apartment. I live here.
I was right.
No, I live here. if you pay attention, when I look at some reality shows on other networks or something like that, there's some telltale giving signs of, when someone's house is not their house or when it's not. And so if you paid attention, looking at my background, there wouldn't be bottles on the bar.
Can I tell you what my theory was?
What?
My theory was that you were in an Airbnb and they have bottles out, and then if you open the bottle, you pay for it like in a hotel.
No, actually, I had bottles, and I have a whole. I don't know if it was in the episode, but towards the other side of the bar, there is a curio case full of expensive Waterford crystal that I've been,
we saw that too.
The longest.
So that's why I thought it was an Airbnb. I'm like, yeah, they have their drinkware and they have.
Well, no, it's Waterford. It's not like some simple dollar store glasses in there. So I don't think an Airbnb.
Oh, so you're fancy. All right.
No, I'm fancy with myself, where I like to decorate, because I feel that if I come home, I want to come home to something worth it, no matter what the problem is that day, that month, that year. I want to feel comfortable where I'm at. And so a lot of people like coming, when they come to my house, they're like, wow, did someone decorate for you? Or, oh, you're fancy. And I'm like, and I'm really humble, actually. I'm like, oh no, like, I'm so sorry my house is a mess, or, oh no, I'm still working on it, or because I'm always constantly like looking to tweak my apartment, because I always want to feel like it's at the end of the day, I want to feel like something was worth it. And so coming home is always something worth it, no matter where you're at and what day you kind of had, it's your sanctuary.
Absolutely. So,
but no, I'm glad, Noelle, that you picked on that it was my place as opposed to an Airbnb, because I kind of look at backgrounds on different reality shows. And I usually go, that's an Airbnb, that's an Airbnb, that's an Airbnb.
We do that a lot.
We do that all the time.
Sometimes I'll look and I'll be like, oh no, that's their house, because I see a picture frame, or I pay attention to those things. My friends hate me because I look at their pictures and I'm like, why didn't you clean that in the background? What are you talking about? I'm like, because the mirror kind of shows, you had a towel thrown on the floor, and they're like, oh, I didn't even see that. I pay attention to those things. I look at everything. I look at the face plates of the electrical to see if they look dirty, if it's there. I look at the floor. I look at the background. I look at
our
everything.
houses are very clean. Don't worry.
I promise.
I look to see which ones are grandma's houses and which ones are college kids' houses, and their backgrounds. So
exactly. So now, on the show, they find your Instagram. And I guess they like bleep out the rest of your Instagram profile. And I'm assuming it's just because they didn't want to give out your Instagram. But we like to pretend that it was because it was a vulgar word. That was what our thing was. So it said, dark, and then whatever. And they blacked it out. So I was like, okay, I think it says dark dick.
So that's what we kept saying, was dark dick.
Well, I'm not that dark. So.
So we were like, all right, that sounds fun. That would be a good word to bleep out. And we were pumped about that. And I'm seeing now that I was wrong. And
the funny thing is, and that I was always told, especially by an entertainment lawyer that I know, they told me not to look at the comments, but I was just curious at the comments, and some of them were pretty harsh and everything. But what's funny was that was one of the topics for like about 4 or 5 posts that were there, or 4 or 5 comments that were there, were like, well, did you see that? I can decipher the name, and I bet you it's something bad. And I'm like,
well, because they bleeped it out. Yeah. That's what it was.
And I'm thinking, wow, you're dumb, because afterwards I kind of commented something, so of course it pops up with the same background and everything, and it was like, you're all wrong.
I know, it's like, oh, that's not that exciting.
It wasn't a dirty name or anything like that.
We're hoping. Now
I should have maybe it would have gotten me some kind of savage clout or something, I don't know.
So we're looking at your Instagram, and Neve and Cammie are looking at your Instagram, and it's pretty aggressive. What is that about? Because I mean, we've been chatting with you for a few minutes before we started recording, and you seem really nice.
So the funny thing is that even amongst my close friends they know that those are lyrics to songs. Like, for instance, the one where Neve is highlighted talking about "shut up, bitch," which they made a whole thing out of, right? And Cammy's like, what did you just say to me?
Right.
Well,
Right.
that was a excerpt from a Little Kim song called "Shut Up, Bitch," and
Right.
I just kind of posted it on there because if you look at the picture, I'm coming out of this big statue's mouth, which is Zeus. The place is called the Awakening here in Maryland,
Right.
and so it was like I figured since it looks like I'm hopping out of someone's mouth, I kind of posted that caption on there, and then there was another one where another a YouTube vlogger or something was like, he's talking about freak stuff and lollipops and licking and this and that. And I was like, that's a Lil Wayne song called Lollipop.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm like, how are people coming at me that I'm some Christian Grey or whatever,
Right.
or some angry or evil?
It
And
does.
even,
It does come off as angry. I will say, like,
It
even
comes
though
off
they're,
as aggressive.
it comes off as
And-
very aggressive, even though they're song quotes. So your profile says, if you're emotionally sensitive and don't like what I post, and fuck off my profile. I'm very direct and unapologetic. That comes off very aggressive.
Yeah.
But see, and I'm not afraid about it's not for me, it's not aggressive. For me, it's being straight to the point, because there's so many fake people out here that I'm not fake. I'm very authentic, and the people that know me close know that I'm very authentic. I don't hide or sugarcoat anything. However, I am respectful when I need to be. So of course my mom doesn't follow Instagram or anybody older in my family. So of course to me it's not. And secondly, I said that with a point. I am unapologetic, and I'm not going to be censored by anybody, and I'm not going to fit a cookie cutter, because then that would make me ordinary.
Right. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, that's an explanation for sure. Now, I want to know more about, if you're comfortable talking about it, so we meet
Sure.
one of your friends via phone.
Mhm.
Okay.
And they call her, and she says, this is a quote, a long time ago, I knew him and his wife.
Okay. She did.
What was that all about? Do you think that that's like kind of, obviously she was trying to like kind of distract them. She didn't want to give too much information out. It seems like kind of like a shady answer.
Yes.
I think what happened was because we hadn't talked for a long time.
Okay.
And also, I mean, every so often, periodically, she would like message me, "Hi, how are you?" Or "I'm happy for you," if I posted something on my Instagram that was like, a highlight for myself. But we hadn't talked for a while. And number two, I think that she was kind of also being protective, because that's how you know that you have a real friend, even if you don't talk for a long time.
Sure.
I'm one of those people that if I'm really friends with you and you told me a deep, dark secret, and, let's say you killed someone and it's an unsolved mystery, I won't say anything
Sure.
about it, because you know why? My loyalty to you. And I'm about loyalty. You could call me aggressive, you could call me mean, you could call me this, but one thing that nobody can ever say that does know me for real, because every other comment is I don't really give a fuck about, honestly.
Right.
But anybody that really knows me knows that I am a very loyal person. And I've had fallouts with certain people that they've told me things that could make them look horrible, and I've never said anything, and then we become friends again. And the one thing that they always say, you know what, I was always scared that you would spill the beans about me, but she's like, but you're so genuine and authentic, and that's why we're friends. That's why I want to reach out to you and stuff like that. And I'm pretty loyal.
What's your sign?
I'm a Libra.
I'm a Leo. I thought you would say Leo.
Hey, I like Madonna. She's a Leo. You're blonde.
Who
That's
doesn't
true.
like Madonna? Come on.
Well,
so now-
apparently not my ex-boyfriend, because he knows nothing about any pinnacle artist or anything like that.
Well, he's young. See, this is where the disconnect comes.
That's true.
Correct.
We're definitely going to get there. Now that you say ex-boyfriend, we're definitely going to get there. So now I'm looking at your Instagram, and there's a picture of you and your ex-wife, and it says, "I was married when I was in my early 20s, but now I'm better, smarter, and gay in my late 40s." So, well, congratulations on coming out.
Good for you.
Are you guys still in touch? Are you friends with her?
I am not friends with her. However, she keeps in touch with my mother.
Okay.
And my mom usually gives me updates on her. We don't really, we don't interact. There's no reason to interact. That was in the past. And I know that was a topic that was brought up, that how come I never mentioned it to him? It wasn't important. If I had children, and I had child support and I had to continue dealing with her, then yeah, I would have brought that into, hey, this was like, but when you're meeting someone and you're talking to someone, you're not going to sit there and talk about every relationship hookup or person that, you know, that's come into your life, you know, because if it's not important to be mentioned, it's not important to be mentioned. And number two, I kind of remembered that in the beginning of talking with Zark in our interactions, his thing was that, you know, the deal breaker would have been, you know, if I was married, a drug dealer, or had children.
If you were currently married, though.
Correct.
Not if you had been married in the past. Yeah.
Correct. But that was never specified. So I kind of just stood with it. And then I was like, it's not important. You know, if it was if I was in a heterosexual relationship, like say with Noelle or you know, Tiffany. Well, I'd have to be honest with Tiff, because she would probably fuck me up. I could just tell by the way she looks. But if it was a heterosexual relationship, then that's something that, yeah, it's relevant. I mean, yes, I should tell you that I was previously married, because maybe me and you are talking about getting married. So me and Zark never planned on talking about getting married. I didn't know where it was going to go. It was like, I didn't even think that we would make it into so much of a conversation back and forth for as long as it did. I was always like, wow, like, and so, you know, I never expected it, but again, it wasn't something that was relevant to him, because A, it's not a competition. I don't have children. I don't pay spousal support. And she was something that happened to me when I was his age.
Okay, so now when did you guys split up?
So we were together when we were together for like 7 years.
Okay.
And she was, I believe she was 22 or 23, ironically the same age as Zark. But I was like 20, I was at 27 or 28. So, you know.
Okay. So before you were in your 40s, you were divorced from her. But now here's the question. And the only reason why we even really think about this is because in a lot of your photos that were not when you were married, you do wear a wedding band.
Yes.
So I have a funny story about that. So I have a really close friend. She was an escort to the stars. She's no longer alive, so I'm not going to mention her name. But she was a very close friend, and she was an escort, and she's been with a lot of celebrities. And so she was very harsh and abrasive. And so sometimes when I think of these little posts that I put up, I think about her, because she was a sweet person. When she wasn't escorting at night, she was Winnie the Pooh during the day at Disney. So, because I lived in Florida. It is funny. So any case, I was one of those few fortunate people who was able to peel back those layers, right? So getting to your question about the ring was a ring that my friend gave me. And what happened with this ring was the reason that she gave me this ring was because she said, when you flick someone off, let them see the bling on your finger so they know exactly which finger, and they're not confused at which finger you pulled out. And so I say that with saying this. When I was younger and before the cancer treatment, I was a lot thinner and it fit my middle finger. But now it doesn't fit my middle finger. And I know you can look at the video if you'd like, but see, it don't fit my middle finger.
Right.
It fits here, and I've always kept it there.
Okay.
And that was pretty much it.
It was it was kind of a coincidence that you were married, because that's what made everyone think that you were married. And then when they inquired, it was like, oh, he was married.
So you want to know the funny thing about it is that I never thought of this as a wedding ring, because it's to me it's a simple band, right? With some stones on it. And actually it is diamonds, because she gave it to me. She had the exact same one, but she had it on her middle finger and I had mine on mine, right? But what happened is it's funny, I don't look at it as a wedding band. Now that I kind of look at it from like maybe a distance, I'm like, oh, maybe it could be. But the reason that I don't think of it as a wedding band is because my mom actually has my actual wedding band. When I got divorced, I gave it to my mother. I said, here, just hold on to it. It was a lot of money spent on it. I could have sold it or whatever, but I just told my mom, just hold on to it, because you never know. Maybe in the future I might need to sell it. And
Sure.
it's like a bank account, because my mom will never give it to me, because I said, hey, I need that ring so I can sell it. She will ask me why. And so my mom, the ring that she has is much thicker, has more elaborate diamonds on it. And I'm thinking, well, a wedding band for me should be thicker, and this is not as thick as a wedding band, so I never looked at it as one. And I guess I always found it funny that other people, like if I met them or anything, they would say, "Are you married?" And I'm like, "Why? Why did you ask that?" And they're like, "Your ring." And I'm like, and I would tell them the same story. No, this used to be my middle finger ring, but
Right.
I now have it here because I had it, and it was something special to me from a friend, a longtime friend that's no longer here. And so I wanted to, keep it as a reminder. And I looked at it, and I was bare, because for a long time before that, I didn't wear rings or chains or bracelets or watches. I had them, but I never did, because I'm a simple guy. I have good taste and everything like that, but I'm also simple.
Right.
So for me, putting that on there was just to remember her, and it wasn't to deceive or fool or make anyone think I was married, which I know some people play those games, but
now
not me.
something that bothered you that we spoke a little bit about was that a lot of people were denying that you had cancer treatment. And while that's like not really anyone's business, it was put out there, and I understand you're being upset, but also people are looking at you. You have this thick beard, you have this thick hair, and you're saying that you lost your hair during the treatment, and people are denying or questioning that you had cancer.
So the funny thing about that is that it did kind of bother me, but then I thought about it and I was like, it doesn't really matter, because the people that were closest to me knew what I was going through. They knew about the 9 months of chemotherapy that I went through. They knew about the month and a half battle of radiation that I went through.
Right.
They knew the constant oncologist. I never really put it out there for a lot of people, but the people that mattered, I never posted it on Instagram because I didn't want the pity party or anything like that. But the people that were really, really, really close to me knew what I was going through. And as far as that, I kind of was bothered by it. But then I said, these trolls online don't mean anything to me in my life, and it doesn't matter.
Sure. And then you have to also understand that people don't have all the information. We're just seeing what is put out there by Catfish.
And number two, if it ever had to become some Department of Justice Capitol hearing, right? Which I'm not that important. I have my receipts. I have my medical records. I have that information. But honestly, it really doesn't matter, because I know what my journey was. It was a very rough journey. And the people that know me commend me, because they knew that I braved it. I gave a brave face for it. I battled it. I went through it. And so, Zark knew that I was going through cancer, because of the simple fact that even though he wouldn't see me or anything like that, if we FaceTime, I would show him paperwork.
Right.
So I'd be like, hey, look, these were my results from my lab, or this is, I showed him that, and he never really questioned it.
Right.
And so
when did you complete treatment?
So I completed treatment a little bit prior to meeting Zark, but I was feeling self-conscious about it, because even though you guys are talking, and I saw the comments, and even you guys yourselves talked about the beard and everything, I can show you a picture with the freaking, I'll share that with you guys later. But I have a picture with a port in my chest, and I have a full head of hair and a full beard, and it was my last day of chemotherapy. So you can tell that I was sick, because the circles around my eyes and stuff like that, and my skin was a little patchy and grayish, but I still had a full head of hair and a full beard. And it was funny, because the nurses afterwards told me, wow, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, what do you mean, what am I doing? And they're like, well, we're trying to figure out here, we're over here talking about when you're going to lose your hair. And I'm like, I've lost a lot of hair. They're like, no, you're supposed to lose everything, because you have an aggressive treatment. And so I was like, well, to me, I've lost clumps of hair. So,
Right.
but I said, I said, I know in Virginia, it's not supposed to talk about, using marijuana or anything with your
Right.
healthcare provider. But I said, I smoke a lot of marijuana. I use dry shampoo a lot, and I eat a lot of greens. That's all I could tell you, because I'm not doing anything that's not, available on Earth.
Right.
Even at that, I still was like, what are they talking about? Like, I lost a lot of hair. Like, I looked like Shaka Khan at one point, and next thing you know, I looked like Iggy Pop in the older days. Like,
Oh,
so with his limp hair, right? I was like, I went from Shaka Khan to Iggy Pop, and I'm like, yeah.
well, you have amazing hair.
Yes,
do.
you do.
I
We definitely
appreciate.
commented on that.
Mhm.
What's your shampoo? What's going on there? Are you going to share?
What's my shampoo? Believe it or not,
Are you a
I
VO5
use
kind of guy?
no, I am not. I use ethnic African American products. I
Okay.
use Shea Moisture.
So do I.
Okay, right.
That's a good brand.
I didn't want
Smells
to,
so good.
it is a good smell. It's
Mhm.
most of it's natural. Sometimes here and there, my mom is kind of holistic,
Mhm.
so here and there, what I sometimes put into my shampoo and in or my conditioner. So in my shampoo, I would pretty much put like a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Don't ask me why. It's just she told me, like a shot glass full of it, and that's what I do. And I mix it up. And in the conditioner, I would put like I would break a vitamin E, and I would dissolve a vitamin C. I don't know why, but I read it somewhere and I did it, and that's it. Like, before all the cancer treatment, it was pretty much I used whatever shampoo, and I just washed and go, and people were like, you have beautiful hair, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Well, you're
You know,
blessed with you are blessed with genetically beautiful hair.
Yes.
well, see, the thing that makes me feel insecure about my hair sometimes is that when you're looking at these reality shows like Love and Hip Hop, and you see these girls, these long, thick, luscious, straight black hair, it's like, I'm like, oh my God, I look like shit,
I like that you judge your life on Love and Hip Hop. That is,
I love Love and Hip
you are
Hop
our
New York.
people. Okay, so Roger, the big question, you referred to Zark just a few minutes ago as your
Mhm.
ex-boyfriend.
I
So
did.
as far as when the show was over, we gave an update and it said that Zark didn't answer you for weeks, and then you finally went out in person and everything was going well. So can you just catch us up quickly and tell us where you are now?
So those few weeks that he didn't uh, that we didn't talk to each other, I guess his friends, or his so-called friends and coworkers, encouraged him to have a hot girl summer and open a Tinder and Grinder and whatever other kind of hookup app.
Right.
And so when we did finally talk, because I said to him, funny, I have screenshots here of you having a uh, profile. And he's like, try to turn it around on me. Well, why do you have a profile? I'm like, well, you're the one that kind of didn't talk to me. So I wanted to make sure. And
Sure.
I opened these things to see. And he's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And when I sent them screenshots of those profile pics, the profile with the information, then he
Mhm.
was like, well, yeah, my coworkers, they encouraged me, and we had this whole group chat thing where we talk about our sexual escapades, and I'm like, wow, so this whole time that I've been faithful and loyal to you, you're out here doing these things. And then he was like, well, it's only been for a few weeks really, but I've only had sex with like 7 people, but don't worry, I'll get on prep. And
Jeez.
I was like, okay, wow. um that was kind of hurtful. Um, and I kind of knew that we were taking a break, but from what I had last got from the show was that he was going to give it a try.
Sure.
So and we talked a little bit after the show, and we did talk about some space, because obviously some things were highlighted that that we needed to confront that weren't confronted before.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told them, I said, the only thing I know that it was a lie. So I know that a lot of the trolls were talking about you need to take accountability. And so I get it. I've looked at other previous Catfish episodes. There are people that are scamming for money or for whatever purposes. I never held a gun to his head and told him that he needed to be with me. He could have easily just told me to go fuck myself a long time ago after a certain period of time. That was number one. Number two, I never asked him for anything. All I was doing was actually trying to genuinely have a connection without any superficial shit, especially the fact that he was talking about that he wanted to be a model and he's doing local modeling, which, I was like, well, I don't want him to think that I'm with him because I think that he's a model or that he's cute or anything like that. I wanted him to know that I really cared about him. So maybe I perceived it a little wrong, but my perception of, or my decision of doing this or continuing on as long as it was because I was trying to get connected. It's not like I sent them fake pictures. He got my pictures. Sure. But the thing about it was that those were pictures have filters and stuff like that. And those, I felt at my best there, but there was times where I was still recovering. I still had a lot of steroids that were in my system that I needed to expel at one point or another, which made me gain weight. So that's another thing, because I was always super skinny. So I kind of, now I'm going from a size 28, 32 to a size, 36, 40. That was not, and less than a year and a half, that was like, wow. For me, it was I might have gained a little weight, but the most weight I would have ever gained in my life was like 10 pounds, and I'd still call myself fat, but not a whole 100 and something pounds more, And so I was self-conscious about it, and that was my decision. And at the end of the day, I still don't mind my decision because me and Zark got to know each other on a non-superficial level, and we shared things with each other as far as our lives, what's going on, whether they're good or bad, and we were there to give each other advice. If anything, more me to him because I'm more experienced. So, but there was moments where I just needed him to listen to me as well. And so I felt that this was a different direction that I wouldn't ever, because before I would have just met someone at a club and been like, hey, you want to fuck? Something like that.
So you're looking for a more genuine relationship. So now after the show, you guys, obviously, he reached out to you. You guys ended up meeting in person and you had a pretty nice relationship.
We went to New York to celebrate his 23rd birthday. We went on an open helicopter ride. We went to a lot of fancy restaurants. We went to a few observatories. We had a good time. We got to know each other a little bit more. And not only were we celebrating his 23rd birthday, but the following day after his birthday would have been our 2-year anniversary of making it official.
And when was this? When is his birthday?
His birthday is June 7th.
Okay, so it was just not too long.
I'm sorry, June 6th. Sorry,
okay.
June 6th. And June 7th is our anniversary.
Okay.
So, we were like, let's kill two birds with one stone. And since it's already since we both know that we both live in this area, let's just go somewhere where we're out of our comfort.
Right. So it's like a neutral ground. So you go to New York, you have a great time. You continue your relationship when you get back to DC.
Correct.
And you guys are together. Everything seems to be going well. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the other night you have the viewing party for Catfish.
So we kind of had another disconnect because again, he has, and again, I was super mad about it, but then I had to remember that he's very immature and young. And so he is easily guided by other people. And so his work, quotation mark, friends. And I say that because these are people that he's just met in the last 2 or 3 months or 4 months.
Okay.
And all of a sudden their word is like, the Bible. So they kind of like not knowing the story, not knowing. They only know what he might have told them. And I know that he probably excluded a lot of things to them because he didn't want to feel embarrassed because of his image. Like, you know, why are you dating a guy for almost 2 years without even knowing him or this or that? Or, you know, he gets he's kind of shy, and he's kind of, he gets embarrassed by things. So because he worries about his image and he really wants to be this supermodel. And I guess he thinks that the image basically, but he's easily guided by people.
Okay,
And
so now so what happened with the work friends? Was he cheating on you with someone?
Well, I have a speculation that he did. He claims that he didn't.
Okay, so this is just speculation. You guys get into an argument about it.
Correct.
I'm assuming, and then you reconcile.
Well, the thing about it was that, you know, the viewing, the real issue happened at the viewing party.
Mm-hmm.
At the viewing party, we kind of, because we already had talked about, we're going to work through this and we're going to figure this out. Let's wait till the show is done, and, you know, and then we'll figure it out, and just kind of like organically go from there. We'll put shit to the side and to the past, and what I did and what you did with your 7 hookup escapades that your coworkers convinced you to do before. But any case, at the viewing party, he brought one of the friends, quotation mark, coworkers, so to speak, and same person that he has these chats where they talk about, well, if you're gonna go have sex tonight, don't forget not to eat before noon.
Right.
Because, you know, that they call it bottom dieting. And
Sure.
I only know this because of what he told me. And I'm like, you know, you're telling me this shit. So of course, if you're telling me that this is the person that encouraged you to do this shit that didn't know me, then of course I'm going to feel a certain kind of way. And you're over here talking about that you're work brothers and it's like family. Well, first of all, like I put on one of the comments there because he had the opportunity to respond to me on one of my comments on Catfish. Catfish's profile.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm sorry, how are you going to sit here and talk about that you're like a family friend and you won't cross that limit when you've only known him for 2 or 3 months and you've never stepped foot in his house? So, you know, however, I've already stepped foot in his house. I've met his parents. I've met his siblings.
Right.
I've actually slept over his house. I've had dinner with his family. And I thought that was a breakthrough for me because he comes from a strict Muslim background and the family was open and accepting. And I found
that's very nice, regardless of how
yes.
things ended up. That's very, very nice.
Right. So the thing about it is, don't call yourself like family, like a brother, because that's fake. You weren't like family or like a brother because you've never walked into his house.
Okay,
so
I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if this is a new friend and now you're claiming that, so now he comes to the party, and did you guys get into an altercation? Did you and the coworker get into something, or were you just?
So I already had vibes and everything, but I'll tell you what was going on. So mind you, I put all this together, like, you know, we have a lot of champagne, a lot of food.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a lot of running around to do because I did mostly all of it. You know, I set up a lot of it. I put everything together. I was the one running from like 6 or 7 stores to get different things and you know, try to make this celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking, hey, this is a beginning to, now we can like have a real relationship after this is done, right? After the show is done, we can just go ahead and do what we need to do and not, you know, go with this back and forth shit. And you already know what's on the table as far as what I don't like, what I don't appreciate. I didn't appreciate how these people that don't know you were influencing you. And you don't like certain things about me. So it's like, okay, it's out on the table. We're going to work on it. Any case, what I noticed from the viewing party was that he was paying more attention to his work brother, quotation mark. For instance, 5 times I'm sitting next to him and I'm like, he has one of the bottles of champagne that we had. And I'm like, I would pull out my glass and be like, babe, give me some. And then he would pass by me and walk towards this work brother and make sure his glass was full and not mine.
Right.
Or if I would say something cute to him, like, you know, I love you, we're going to make this work, I'm glad that this is almost done, you know, and I would go to kiss him on the cheek, he denied me. And on
Okay,
the
so you
other
thought that
side,
he was acting very differently, in your opinion, in front of his work
the other
friends.
guy. Yeah.
Okay, so now
Well,
what happens? So what happens?
Particularly that
Right.
one guy.
Okay, so
Because
now
he was
what
on the
happens?
other
Do you
side of
approach
me.
him about it?
So wait, and then I'll tell you another thing I observed. I observed that they went to the bathroom together, and I'm like, well, why are they going to the bathroom together? I mean, I know there's multiple stalls in there, but wait a minute, why are you guys going there? Or why is it that you guys are talking in a corner over here when everybody else is over here? So those were the things that had me riled up a little bit, but I kind of try to keep my composure. After the show aired, after it was done, we kissed each other, whatever. But I took him to the rooftop where I live, while everybody else was down in the club room. And I voiced, because of course me and Zark always had this thing where we would just talk to each other no matter what, you know. Don't worry, I'm not going to get mad, you know, as long as we don't come at each other disrespectfully, right? So I told them, you know, I'm not accusing you, but this is what I feel. Because of what you told me what happened in those 2 weeks where this particular person told you to open these apps and have a hot girl summer and do all this bottom dieting, right? So this person is influencing you, and their word means more to me. And then I see you here at the party because this is the first time I meet this person, okay? Now this person is here and where I live, and I'm seeing you talking sneak shit in the corner, and I see you going to the bathroom. I see you don't want to kiss me or be intimate or hold my hand in front of this person. And I also see that you bypass me when I'm sitting right next to you, and you have to walk like about 30 or 40 steps to the other person to go ahead and fill up their glass of champagne when that person's supposedly not an alcoholic and they don't like to drink. So why are you making sure that their cup is full, but I'm sitting next to you, like, babe, you ignored me. And so I'm human. If you're paying attention to somebody else and you're doing all of this shit, what am I supposed to say? Oh, I'm just tripping, and you know, I don't have no right to feel or be suspicious. You know, I have every right to be. We're not talking about some bullshit. We're talking about a relationship and maybe, you know, a life-altering, you know, decision. Because when you're getting into one, it is a life-altering decision.
So do you decide to talk to him on the rooftop? What is his reaction? So you let him know that you're feeling a little bit, you know, ignored, and he's acting a little bit strange. So you confront him about it on the rooftop, and I'm assuming things did not go well.
Things did not, well, the things didn't go well because he tried to rebuttal me with this and that I'm insecure, and that, you know, that I have issues, and that I'm this and that I'm that, and that his friends are right. And I'm like, see, that's what your problem is. Your problem is that your friends are right. These people that you've only met for the last few months that don't know nothing about us, and they're right. So, okay. So that was the issue.
And so does he decide to end it? Do you decide to end it?
Well, we kind of argued about it, and that's what ended up happening was that people started coming to the rooftop from downstairs. So we kind of grinned and bared it, right? And that was it. While everything was said and done, he comes back to my apartment after he drops his sister off 45 minutes away. And he comes to my house because he had keys to my house. And we start arguing, and of course, you know, he claims that he ended it and he's moved on, because that's what I'm really more mad about, that he's made a mockery of this for his 15 minutes of fame on Catfish, because he's the one that wants to do modeling. So I think he saw an opportunity to make himself look like a victim and, you know, make himself look good. And that's the shit that bothered me, because I'm the one that's getting the shitty end of the stick with these comments from trolls. I'm getting the wrong image from different people, and it doesn't really matter. However, you're capitalizing on it. So that told me that you didn't give a fuck about me.
Now,
You only
just
care about
quick
this.
question. When did you film Catfish? So you went for his birthday, June 6th and 7th to New York City. And that was kind of like, your 2-year anniversary. When was Catfish filmed?
I'm not exactly sure about the timing, but we went to New York.
When did you first meet in person?
We met in person, actually, I would say maybe about a week after we filmed. And it was kind of one of those soft meetings, like, let's meet, let's have a drink,
Okay. And that was what, around May?
That was around May. And,
Okay.
and we kind of like talked about it. And then I said, hey, since everything went fine in the soft meeting, so to speak, that's where we decided, hey, let's give this a try and let's go to New York. And that's when you went
to New York? Okay.
Correct.
All right. So New York was kind of like your
you,
first
right.
hurrah.
Right. And I'll tell you the reason that I decided to go along with it was A, because it was his birthday, B, it would have been our 2-year anniversary, and C, an old wives' tale my mom used to tell me. You'll know a lot about a person when you travel with them.
Sure.
That's true.
And so
that's why I only travel with Noelle. No matter who I'm dating, I only travel with Noelle.
I'm married. I only travel with Tracey.
we had a few moments where he got very diva-ish with me, and it was well,
I think that also you guys you didn't, even though you knew each other on the phone, knowing someone in real life is a lot of times, unfortunately, much different.
Yes.
And you probably started seeing, what your personalities were really like in person. And maybe they just didn't mesh.
Which
maybe
is fine.
So. I'll tell you this, I asked myself one of those questions, and it was like, how does a guy like me jump into a rabbit hole? Kind of like plummeting into like chaos. Mm-hmm. How do I come unchanged out of this? And I kind of figured it out now. It doesn't. You don't come out of this unchanged. But because of what happened, I kind of feel like I got my life back after 2 years.
Well,
right?
I think that in general, every situation that we're in, whether it's good or bad, we all learn something about ourselves from it, and we all, kind of make the necessary adjustments for a bad situation to possibly never happen again.
And don't get me wrong, like, listen, I'm not the model. I'm not the person that likes having an audience like he did. So for me, it was taken back that, I was end up to be made this very big villain, so to speak. And of course, my cancer being questioned. And again, like you said earlier, you're only giving details by what the hosts are giving. But
yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. When the fans are questioning that, you have to understand that we have very little information.
Yeah.
So we're only going off of what we see. And yeah, that would be a very, that's a question for sure. When things go unanswered, you wonder.
It's kind of like, I'll ask you, Tiffany, are you really a woman? Are you a woman?
Sometimes I don't know.
But knowing that you're a woman, for someone to question that,
right.
Sure.
Even though you might have,
right. But here's the thing, Roger,
about it, but it would still hurt you.
Sure, but at the same time, when you put yourself out there for strangers to basically judge you, you have to understand that is unfortunately what happens. And I do understand that because I am, I don't want to say that I'm a celebrity, but I'm a comedian. I put myself out there constantly, and I am judged by my appearance. I'm judged by the things that I think. I'm judged by the way I sound, by the way I look. And no one has the right to judge me, but here we are.
But I kind of also felt blindsided a little bit because, I was told, by the powers that be, so to speak, right, that when I had my apprehension about this, I told them, I said, listen, I don't want this to. I've seen your show. I've seen what it does, how it makes other people look, and I was kind of told that, hey, don't worry, you're the real person. That
Right, but
only
that's
usually happens to the catfish that lies.
No,
And it's not the
listen,
person.
reality
Like-
TV is reality TV, and there are editors and there are
Yep.
writers and there are producers. And going into something like that, you have to understand, even if you're getting a documentary made about you, the footage is theirs to edit. And
No,
at the end of
I
the
kinda-
day, it is
and
what
like
it is.
and like Tracy
I
was
kinda-
saying, people really comment on what you look like. They don't care.
I
They
know.
really don't even care about your
I-
personality. It's your
I'll get-
looks.
I'll get to that too. So, I to what Tracy was saying, I kind of already gathered that, that there was going to be some editing done and everything like that. However,
Mhm.
because I spoke truthfully, because I came on out of my free will, I had nothing to hide. I was kind of almost like, okay, this is like a pressure taken off of me that we could finally meet, and that we don't have to keep doing this, that we can
Sure.
actually meet each other. So it was kind of like I did agree to do all this. However, I thought that because I spoke my truth and I didn't do anything particularly wrong like other situations, that I
Mhm.
thought that I knew I was going to get a few haters here and there. I didn't think I was going to get such a big backlash, and that for Zark to capitalize on that backlash and my pain and my hate makes me realize that he never cared about me. He only cared about his 3 or 4 minutes of fame on the show because he thought that was going to help elevate his modeling career. And that's what kind of hurts. But on the same token, like what you were saying, Noelle, it was funny because I remembered that day. I got dressed, and I kind of, my hair's curly, so of course I kind of like half straightened it, where it didn't look so
Sure.
straight. And I put on something, and I was like, I was looking in the mirror. I was like, I look really sexy today. I feel attractive. I never really had a low self-esteem, but I was like, not like so into myself. And when I'm looking at myself, I'm like, oh, okay, good. I look great, And then I'm looking at the comments from obviously trolls that shouldn't matter. It was like, he's so ugly. He's so old. He's so this. He's so that. And I'm like, oh my God, this shit's like,
yeah, I mean, I
it's just
understand that it makes you
crazy.
question yourself, but at the same time, it's like, this is what online trolls do.
Mhm.
This is par for the course to every single person that's ever put themselves out there, in any TV, radio, podcasting, live performance, any kind of social media influencer. This
Mhm.
is what it's all about. That is what
And-
goes on. If you guys are listening, take into account that people are real people.
Yeah.
Even we talk a lot of shit on this podcast. We talk a lot of shit on our other podcasts too. But at the same time, like, they are real people. But
Yes.
what we are judging on is not the real person. We're judging on just what we're shown on TV. And that's kind of what we're forced to do on our Trash Talk podcast. We only are supposed to know what you show us. So we have to
Yes.
judge by that. Even though we know maybe, a certain situation didn't go like that, we don't know that for a fact. So we're
Mhm.
just going off of the story like it is a fiction show.
No, and I get that. And, I felt like I was jumping in some point. I kind of had like a feeling of dread of doing it, and I kind of did. But then at the same time, I wanted to come out and be truthful, and after I saw Zark's stories or posts that he put on Instagram, like, yeah, he was the wrong one for me. I dumped him. I'm moving on to bigger and better things. I'm better than that. I'm this and that. Hey, you know what? To all of those fans that DM'd me, I will hit you back up. I'm single. That kind of shit really kind of bothered me. And I was like, and that was the reason why when you reached out to me, Tracy, I was like, I'll do this because I want people to know the truth. I want people to know that, I'm not this horrible person or anything like that. I pretty much, like I said, I wanted to have what anybody else in life wants to have, which is love,
Sure.
Um,
Well, we really appreciate you coming here and
wanna-
telling your side of the story.
No, and I appreciate you having me on here because, again, I still want to believe that that you can have a happy ending. And I still think with all my heart that I can. And
Sure.
Even if you don't get the guy in the end, you know, I still want to believe that you will
happiness
have your own
has to
happy
come.
ending.
Yeah, it has to come from
Because
ourselves, and it has to come from within. And you know, we cannot rely on other people to make us happy. That's the only thing that I've learned in my 25 years on this earth.
No, and I realized that too, because at the same time we all write our own stories too at the same time with our actions and everything like that. And I realize all that. Sometimes you just want to have a little faith. But I know that I'm ready to try again after some time. I'm still a little bruised and a little humbled, obviously, and hopefully a lot smarter.
Well, listen, we have a lot of people listening. Roger, is there anything that you want to throw out there as far as your social media? I don't know if you want people to follow you or if you're comfortable with that.
They can follow me, Dark Angeles, DARKANGELES 1976 at Instagram, not Yahoo. Why did I say Yahoo?
So that's on Instagram. So it's definitely not Dark Dick.
It's definitely not Dark Dick, and it definitely isn't anything disgusting or anything like that.
Well, that is the most disappointing part of this entire interview. I'll tell you that.
And if you're gonna look at my posts, just know that if anything seems aggressive or sadistic or sexual, because I had somebody call me like some kind of sexual sadist on Twitter or something, and I'm like, wow. If you go ahead and do a Google search on any of those quotes, most of the time, some of those quotes are just songs or excerpts from some kind of a rap. So it's like,
okay.
I'm a pretty chill and cool person.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for telling your side of the story. I hope everyone goes over to Instagram and follows Roger. And we hope that you'll keep in touch with us and give us any more updates that you have. And we wish you luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hey, and I'll end it with this,
Sure.
I'll end this for those people out there. Don't let a situation detour you from falling in love, because sometimes when you go through these situations, it can kind of, make you be apprehensive towards it. I have a feeling, like I said, we all write our own stories and we all find our happy endings at some point or another. And life is funny that way, that once you let go, you might end up right where you need to belong,
Exactly.
And me letting go of this embarrassment and this hurt from Zark, I know that obviously there has to be some other opportunity for me, because I'm not the horrible person that others perceive me as. And I still don't give a fuck what others perceive me as, because nobody pays my bills. So,
True story. All right, guys, make sure you're following Roger, and you can follow me at Trixie Tuzini on Instagram and Twitter, and you can follow Noelle at Noe Girl, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Roger, and have a great time, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.